Hello guys, China Uncle Mikey here. Welcome to another episode. Long time no see. A Chinese blogger called Tatara, who almost got 2 million followers on the Chinese social media Weibo, recently released a video tell her Chinese audience she finally decided to not learn English in rest of her life. I think the message or the value this video carries out, which is quite ridiculous and the controversy, I think it is valuable to be discussed in this episode. And it's got huge tons of the viewerships from the Chinese social network, got almost 10 plus millions or something. So in this episode, let's check it out.
The 20th anniversary of me learning English, and I finally decided not to learn it anymore. Growing up, I've always been a good student of English, but I've never been satisfied.
Always be a good student of learning English, but finally still cannot satisfied with herself. This is some kind of show off, right? To show, look, I am a good student, but I'm not very satisfied with that.
I was also a good student of English in middle school. I got the highest scores in class. I became the little grammar teacher of my classmates. But I've never been satisfied. So I spent days and nights in the library, looking up every single word I saw in the readings, and I rehearsed 5 times before I gave a presentation. As a result, I got the highest GPA in my department, but I was still not able to be satisfied.
So, once again, she said, okay, I got the highest GPA in the school, but I have never satisfied because I'm speaking English as a second language or something. It's not my mother language.
One day when I traveled to England and had a brunch at a British friend's, she asked me what meat I wanted, ham or turkey. I pretty much believed I could do anything with my English on the planet, until I studied abroad in Australia, where I found a brand new species called native English speakers. The English girl and her mom was so surprised when I told them I got into Harvard, because they believed I was just as intelligent as I sounded in my second language at the age of 15.
If you watch the video from the beginning to the end, then you would understand she got a chance to go to USA, then travel to the UK, then maybe moved to Australia to do some other education, then eventually enter the Harvard University. But she is doing it as a privileged person. Her audience is the Chinese audience. If you understand China, for the majority of the population, they do not even have a chance to go to the top niche Chinese university. If you got this kind of chance to travel all around the world to get the top niche education, the best education on this planet, then you probably know she is kind of like a privileged people. But she did that in a very effective way.
One day when I traveled to England and had a brunch at a British friend's, she asked me what meat I wanted, ham or turkey. I said, what's the difference? She laughed so hard and repeated my question to her mom. She was like, ha ha ha, Tatara doesn't know what are ham and turkey. Her mom also laughed and explained it like she was teaching a toddler. Ham is unk, turkey is cluck cluck cluck. You know what, girls, I just didn't know the vocabulary. It's not that I'm too stupid to recognize animals. Of course I didn't say that as well. I've never felt confident.
No, I don't really know if the story she made it up or it's a real story, right? Such kind of like ham or turkey thing, her friends and her friend's mother was laughing at her, but eventually she got revenge or something. Oh,
the English girl and her mom was so surprised when I told them I got into Harvard, because they believed I was just as intelligent as I sounded in my second language at the age of 15.
This is another kind of implication and show off, to show her got chance to go to Harvard or something, right?
And you know what, when I lived in Australia, I had an Australian accent. I don't speak a standard English because of the plurality of my identity, not because I don't speak a perfect English.
So by imitating the Australian accent is another kind of show off. But actually it's not an Australian accent, right? It's a fake British Chinese accent combined together or something. But this is so ridiculous. And you know, her intention was just to show off her language ability to the Chinese audience. Just like, look at me, I can do British or Australian accent. How intelligent or how fantastic I am. This is the hidden information that she wants to deliver to the Chinese audience. It's very hypocritical. So, beside this narcissistic show-off ridiculous thing, another thing that I want to point out in this video is actually the projection and the implication of the information that she wants to deliver to the ordinary Chinese audience.
I remember in the first English class of primary school, my teacher from the States prepared a piece of paper for everyone. On each of them, there was an English name. The teacher randomly assigned them to us and told us that, from now on, this would be your name. The name I was given was Wenxi. Since the Northern Chinese dialect I speak doesn't use the sound wo, I always called myself Wenxi. My teacher corrected me again and again. You are not Wenxi. You are Wenxi, Wenxi, Wenxi. But he never realized that I was not even Wenxi. I have my name in my language that you didn't even try to enunciate. Alright, I confess, I didn't say that to him. I told you I wasn't confident. So I said, yes sir, thanks for your instruction. And I went home practicing Wenxi 100 times.
So about her English name, she told this story as like the teacher was forced her to use the English name even when she wasn't able to pronounce the English characters like V and W, right? But what I can tell you, this is definitely a made-up thing. She said she was from the Beijing northern area. If you know a lot of Chinese students, know the Chinese English students, you know the northern Chinese population, they do have a problem to pronounce V rather than W, because they are able to pronounce W by no problem. But the V sound is very difficult for them or for the northerner in China, because they don't pronounce V or V in the northern dialect. Only I believe only the eastern part, like Shanghai area, or you know the Jiangsu or Zhejiang province, we do have a certain population. We apply this V sound in our dialect. So, Gasevu. Yeah, so Gasev in Shanghainese means gossip.
Oh, okay.
Gasev is sound translation as well from the word gossip.
I see.
So when the old Shanghainese like learning English, they always like twisted the sound, right?
Yeah.
So and turn it like localize the sound. So
Yeah.
Gasev, which means gossip.
And that's quite interesting because I'm just noticing a local sound now in Shanghainese that I've not heard in Putonghua or regular Mandarin, which is the V sound.
Yeah, that's right.
So, Gao Se Vu.
That's why like Shanghainese can pronounce like verb.
Right.
Very.
Yeah.
But you will find like it's a little bit difficult for the northern Chinese to pronounce this V.
Yeah, they might say wary or
wary. Yeah, that's right. They use W instead of V.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's not the way how she tells, and it's not even close to the reality. But this is basically a made up. And also this kind of like force you to have an English name. This is also very fake, because by common sense, the English teacher wouldn't force you to have an English name unless you really want to have an English name. Like what I do, I call myself Mike because I love Michael Sivo in the old Growing Pains TV show. And I'm pretty satisfied with this English name because my real Chinese name isn't that easy for the Westerner to understand, and to have such kind of nickname is very easy for your colleagues to reckon how to call you, right? But if you really dislike the English nickname or English name, definitely no teacher would force you to have so. You know, the ham and the turkey thing in the UK, and she was laughed by her friend and her friend's mother, these kind of things.
What meat I wanted, ham or turkey? She laughed so hard and repeated my question to her mom. She was like, ha ha ha, Tatara doesn't know what are ham and turkey. Her mom also laughed.
I understand the implication is to tell the Chinese people, if you travel abroad, you will be laughed by the Western people because you know so little about the outside of the world, even about the ham and the turkey. First, if you don't have the knowledge about turkey and ham, then it's your problem. It's not. I think people in China also understand what's the difference between a ham and a turkey, right? So the implication is to tell the Chinese people, do not just go to abroad. Even she is outside of China. She lives outside of China for her entire life or something. But she still try to tell the Chinese people, do not come out. You know, if you come out, you will be laughed. And the people will mocking you. You know, you look so different and your knowledge is so limited. These kind of things. But look at me. I have this kind of, you know, knowledge. Is this nasty? Pretty nasty, actually. You know, the thing about pretending to stick with the Aussie friends, the Aussie, you know, classmates, to pretend herself understand everything people were talking about around her, and when people are laughing, she pretend to laugh, and when people are getting angry, she is just a pretend to be angry.
I was the only international student in my major, so I spent all my time trying to understand what local people were talking about. Whenever my classmates were having little talks before classes, I stood there pretending I was one of them. When they laughed, I laughed. When they were angry, I showed my anger. But you wanna hear the truth? I didn't understand a word. The same feeling crushed me when I read Baju or Judy's Butler. I could only read, but not comprehend.
This is so ridiculous. I'm not saying this is a make-up story. I mean, it is possible, you know, when you go to Australia, maybe, you know, you would got this kind of problem. You are not able to understand people around you. No, it's not because of the language, it is because of the culture. It's only because the thing that you are talking about is from different background, right? But if you try to pretend to understand everything, I think this girl has some kind of like personality issue, because you don't really have to pretend you understand everything. If you don't understand something, then you probably have to just ask people, you know, what they are talking about. I don't really have this kind of experience. Share your knowledge with me, then I can understand Australian better. You know, this is the most normal way when people, you know, go to a new environment, try to merge with the local, you know, local population, try to make friends. See what I mean? It's not like, oh, I pretend I understand this, but I understand that the main message that she is going to deliver by saying that is just to tell the Chinese audience, see, if you come to Australia, the Australians are xenophobic. They only care about themselves and their little life in Australia. Nobody cares you know. But I'm not saying this is 100% impossible. But as a person, if you want to go to the world and try to understand something, you know, which is different as your own country, then you probably have to be very proactive to communicate with people by honesty. See what I mean? This is another thing, really, you know, it's just a projection, right? Just to try to stopping people has the curiosity, you know, to explore outside of the world and trap them into a realm, which is China, inside the Great Wall. You know, the native speakers has some kind of easy life than immigrant, or English is a dominated language all over the world. If your mother tongue is English, then you have certain levels of advantages.
Native speakers found their lives easier not because their English is better than mine. It is because they had the good fortune to be raised in environments where their native language acquisition coincides with the dominant linguistic group.
I'm not denying that this is some kind of advantage. it's really depending on how do you look at it. It can be an advantage, but it also can be a disadvantage, because if your mother tongue is English, you are able to travel all over the world without learning a second language. But it is also limited to your language ability. You know, to be multilingual, I mean, is a trend on this planet. Because if you really want to travel around the world to see different places all over the world, or except you only want to stay in your local village or something, you know. But the way how she tells the story is also very hostile. Some other things that she carries out is about, like, you know, she is a good student. She tries so hard to be a good student, to study English, you know, to put a lot of effort to study English. But she still isn't able to make real friends or something.
I spent days and nights in the library, looking up every single word I saw in the readings, and I rehearsed 5 times before I gave a presentation. As a result, I got the highest GPA in my department, but I was still not able to be satisfied, because I still couldn't make friends with anybody.
Still cannot make real friends in the Western society because they are so xenophobic. See what I mean? This is so bad. If this kind of fake story that she told is real, I'm pretty sure, of course, you wouldn't be able to make any friends, because you are so fake. It is not about the language you are learning. It is not about the country where you're from. It is not about your race. It is not about what kind of you know, family background you have. It is just because you are a fake person. You cannot accept yourself. You are not able to face to yourself with honesty. It's just a fake dishonesty, affected, squeamish, moronic personality made her not able to make any friends.
Or they're just my classmates with xenophobia.
That's pretty much what I'm gonna say about this video. You know, it is all about the narrative. You know, nowadays in China, if you make content to fit the narrative, which is about not learning English, you know, just last year, the Chinese Education Department announced that English is no longer a mandatory course in the compulsory school education curriculum. So English is not a mandatory course. Now this year they just introduced Russian as a suggested language. I'm pretty sure maybe later on it will be a mandatory course in the school, that the majority of the Chinese school students are going to learn Russian. I don't have any problem against any language on this planet. I thought all the language has its own cultural background. It is beautiful, it is unique. If it is possible, I'm willing to learn multiple languages, right? Actually, I'm a multilingual, right? I'm studying Swedish, jag pratar svenska lite grann, but not in a professional way. I'm still, you know, I speak a little bit Japanese. I'm still learning Japanese. So I'm willing to learn a lot of things that I don't know. It is actually interesting and it is fun. I'm not saying if you grew up in a English background, you don't have any advantages. It is actually granted certain level of the privilege for the English speakers, because undeniable, it is a common language for humanity. It is very useful in the majority of the situation. If people cannot understand each other, they tend to talk to each other in English. That's why I spent a lot of effort to learn English. But the trends nowadays in China is different. So, and nobody can change it. And it's just the individual level. You can still learn English by yourself. You don't have to really follow the school curriculum to improve your English. It's, as I said before, for many times, it's the personal level of choices that you can educate yourself to be more intelligent and to be more wisdom, and then you have the ability to receive the most, at least it is a language carries the up-to-date information, up-to-date knowledge of the humanity in the language, which is English. So anyway, China Uncle Mackie, thanks for watching. See you next time.